All right. Welcome to what is it? July 6th, all right? 2025. And what we're going to do today is we're going to work on shielding your energy using EFT and breath work for empaths and highly sensitive persons, which I happen to be one. So I tend to make these calls uh, beneficial for you, but also the stuff that I need to work on myself. And so that's what we're going to work on today. So, in shielding your energy today, what we're going to work on, we're going to do some quick polyvagal exercises, informed practices that will help you to be ready for those big social situations that tend to be overwhelming. We're going to do some clinical EFT tapping on common patterns. I prepared a breathwork sequence for everybody. And then at the end, I'm going to give some different suggestions about ways in which you could design your behavior to take the information from this call and use it throughout the month. Because if we just attend the call, that's great. But if we apply any of the practices or ideas that come along with it, that tends to really make the experience way, way, way more valuable. So we are recording this. I am going to post it to YouTube. So you're welcome to keep your camera on or off. You're welcome to use whatever name that you want. Participation is requested, but it's not required. I want you to not share any information that you don't feel comfortable with. And I want you to feel safe and present in this space. So, whatever makes you feel that way is good with me, and it's good with everybody here that's participating. So, let's talk about empaths and highly sensitive persons just to get a broad, background on it. Highly sensitive persons, this is a well-documented neurobiological trait called sensory processing. It's sensitivity, increased or deeper central nervous system sensitivity to physical, emotional, or social stimuli. Now, this can come from experiences. It can come from cultural background, like your family. But it can also just be how your nervous system is set. And personally, my nervous system is set to a very high degree. And so there are certain practices that really have helped me, and I want to share a few of them with you today. Now, the research suggests that 20% of the population experiences this, but in this group, people who are interested in the healing modalities, people who are showing up like that, my guess is that percentage is way, way higher because you can see everything that's going on with everybody and you want to help, but it's overwhelming when you do. And the other category that we're going to talk about and we're going to lump in with highly sensitive persons is empaths. Now, empaths share that similar neurobiological mechanism, but their higher focus is on other people's emotions. So they have stronger mirror neurons. So when you see somebody else who's in pain, when you see somebody else who is struggling, that mirror neuron activation creates it within you, which makes it difficult to go out into social situations. It makes it difficult to return to keep your sense of balance, to keep your energy where you like it to be. And it's just a natural thing that's going to occur out in social situations, in large groups. But both of those things, both groups, their autonomic nervous system responds longer and more deeply to external stimuli. And so if you've noticed this pattern in your life, which I'm assuming you have because you are here, that there are things that can be done. Right? There are things that you can do to protect and shield your energy while still going out into the world and providing help, support, and guidance and offering your unique gifts that other people who don't experience this aren't capable of feeling. So the question becomes, how do you put yourself out into the world, but still be able to come back to a sense and a place of safety? And that's the entire goal. That's the entire purpose behind what we're going to do right now. So if you are a highly sensitive person or an empath, there are certain strengths that come along with that. And we really want to lean into those strengths because those strengths are valuable. They're important. They matter to a lot of people and they matter to the world. And so, enhanced empathy, emotional intelligence, deep processing, creativity, intuition, all these come along with this highly activated nervous system. And those things are important. They matter. And you want to be able to share those things, but then return to a place where you can recharge, reset, and restore. But since your nervous system might be more highly activated, you can struggle with overstimulation and sensory overload. And if you do that long enough, it becomes social anxiety. You can struggle with emotional overwhelm, which can lead to difficulties in relationships and relationships challenge. And you can struggle with boundaries because it's hard to tell the difference between where your feelings end and the other person's begin because you're able to feel those so much more deeply. So the purpose and the focus of this call isn't to get rid of any of that. The purpose and the focus of this call is how do you put yourself in the place where you can offer your unique gifts, offer them out in the world, and then come back and recharge and reset. So we're not trying to get rid of anything in this call. We're not trying to clear anything in this call because what you have and what you can offer is important and it matters. But there are different things that you can do to restore and reset yourself when, before, and after, and during when you are out in these very stimulating environments. So the clinical EFT and the breath work is so beneficial for people who have this advantage, I would like to say, because the clinical EFT and the breath work directly works with your nervous system. It works beyond the conscious, right? It works within the subconscious, within the body. And if you can consciously choose to put yourself in a space before you go out, take breaks during when you're out, and then return to that calm, centered space that we all like, our nice little, quiet environments, our nice little, whatever it is that makes you feel calm, safe, and secure. If we can return to those places, head out in those places, and provide little breaks within those stimulating situations, well, then you get the best of both worlds because you're able to go out into the world. You're able to offer your unique gifts. You're able to offer your unique perspectives, but you can return and heal and calm and center yourself. And so that's the entire purpose of this call. Now, all the graphic design in here that I've added to the resource sheet and all those things, I like to do nature stuff. That's just like kind of what I like to do. And so everything's gonna be a mountain, nature, lake. Mountains, sense of strength, right? A lake below that is a barrier, and that reflective thing, that reflective uh, image off the lake is like a nature representation of your ability to see things but not take them in. There's that boundary there. You can reflect them and then you can return. So everything is going to be based, all the stuff is based off of that because that is what we're striving for. We're striving for that strength of character, that strength of intuition, that strength of knowing, but we don't want to take on everybody's energy without being able to release it. So we can then go out and do this again. So that is the purpose, that's the goal, that's what we're shooting for within this call. And so we're going to begin with a quick polyvagal exercise. Now, I prepared two of them for today. We're only going to do the first one. All right, we're going to do the before because we are before right now. And even though we're virtual, this is a social environment. There are lots of people on the screen, right? And so we're going to do a little bit of a quick polyvagal exercise. Now, this one is going to include a few things. The first thing is shaking. All right. If you've ever watched a nice nature documentary, and one of the ones where like the antelope gets away and doesn't get eaten, all right? The first thing that that animal does is it shakes. It shakes off that stress and it releases it. And then it just goes back to like grazing and eating. So we are obviously like not antelopes, right? But we're going to feel that stress. And sometimes having that shaking element is going to help to physically release it. It's something you can choose to do that will release some of this energy. We're also going to include some humming, and humming activates the ventral vagal social engagement system. There's something about that deep humming, that sound that just resonates within you and makes your body feel safer and calmer. And then, as always, we're going to include some breath work, and we're going to include the unequal ratio breath work, which is in more like in through the nose, but then out longer. And anytime that you increase your exhale, you increase the parasympathetic response to your body. So in through the nose for a little bit, out for longer is going to send a signal of safety to your body. And we're also going to use intention because our minds matter. What we think matters. What we tell our body matters. It influences that thinking feeling loop, which will then impact your behavior, which will then impact the next thing that you choose to do. So we're going to make this really short though. These quick polyvagal exercises are meant to be extraordinarily short. Now, in this one, I'm not going to like stand up here because like I have to be the one, I'm going to be the one on camera, right? But feel free if you'd like to stand up if you want to try this out because what we're going to do first is we're going to do some shaking of the hands and then we're going to do some shaking of the arms and then you can do some full body shaking. You can bounce, and all that shaking is going to help you significantly. So, stand up, sit down, whatever you want to do. It's okay with me. I'm going to stay seated just because I'm going to guide this thing. But, if you're capable of if you want to stand up and you feel like that'll be all right for you, this will go a little bit better. All right. So 60 to 90 seconds. This is intended before you go into a social situation, whatever large social situation you're going to encounter. Your body's going to start to process that ahead of time. And we want to clear that energy and make sure that you show up in that ventral vagal social engagement state. So for 10 seconds, you can just start to shake your hands and then allow it to go out to your arms. And then after that, you can start to do full body shaking. If you want to bounce up and down, just shake that as hard as you can. And then come back to center. And then allow yourself to move and sway. You can even like let your arms start to move back and forth. This is a Tai Chi exercise. Just allow those arms to move, to slap the body, get the stomach, get the back, get the shoulder. Just allow that to move and sway. And then put two hands on your chest and just visualize your energy field. We all have one. Then take three slow breaths in through the nose. Longer exhale. My energy stays with me. In through the nose. Longer exhale. My energy stays with me. Last one. In through the nose. Longer exhale. My energy stays with me. And that's it. You can have a seat back in your chair. We won't require you to stand up anymore, but I will tell you that the after you go into a social situation, the exercise starts with that vigorous shaking, right? We start with the shaking because we need to release all that pent-up energy within the body. And then we can return back and we can just do some touch and breathe stuff. So shake it all out. And then you can touch each of the acupoints. You can breathe in and say release. And you can breathe out and say return. And if you hit all those points after the shaking, once you're back in your environment, this provides a physical cue to your body that lets you know that you are now back. You're safe. It's over. 60 to 90 seconds before or after or during, right? Would be a hard thing to do to take a little break during one of these social situations and do one of these exercises. It'd be extraordinarily valuable for you. But now what we want to do is we want to start figuring out some common patterns that we can do some clinical EFT tapping on. And I'm not going to offer you everything that's going to be your stimuli. I'm going to offer you some different things that you could think about because we're going to play clinical EFT Mad Libs, which means we're going to fill in the blank. All right. And so, where we want to start, the first blank that you want to fill in is the situation in which you might be feeling that activation. So, there are three different situations that I'm going to go over. I want you to find the one that feels the most present for you. All right, and I want you to make note of it. So, you want to walk out of this next little section with like one situation. It can be something that's upcoming. It can be something from the past, or it could be something that happens typically for you. Pick one. The first type of situation to think about that's difficult for highly sensitive people and empaths is crowded or high stimulation social environments, parties, networking events, family gatherings with multiple conversations and emotions going on. Open office environments with constant activity without a sense of your own space. Shopping centers, concerts, busy restaurants. Any of those things can be difficult for somebody with a highly sensitive nervous system. The next category is anything that you know that you're going to deal with that has conflict, tension, emotional distress in others. So, knowing that you're going to witness, or the high likelihood that you're going to witness a heated discussion or an argument. Any situation in which you know there's going to be drama or interpersonal conflict, or any situation in which you know others that you're going to be around are going to be angry, crying, highly stressed, emotional, all of those different things. The other common situation that tends to show up for highly sensitive persons and empaths is overwhelming sensory environments. So, any place with bright lights, loud noises, strong smells, chaotic or cluttered environments. Anything that's going to be a rush in time pressure or unexpected changes to your routine. So those three things again are the crowded or highly stimulating social environments that might have conflict, tension, or emotional distress, or any overwhelming sensory environment. Just think about what one situation that you're going to encounter that you'd like to work on today. So get one situation down. Just give it a name, a title, so you know what it is. Now, once you have that in mind, the next thing we want to think about are what are the sensory details that are associated with that environment. Remember, your body thinks in linear time. So, in that sensory detail, in that moment, in that situation, what are the things that you are likely to see, hear, taste, touch, smell? Try to get two or three of them. Think about the body language of the other people there. Think about what types of things you might expect to hear. If there's any associated foods or drinks that you're going to experience at that environment. So really tune into that, allowing yourself to just mentally rehearse what you're going to feel in a sensory capacity. See, hear, taste, touch, smell. We'll get to the emotions in a bit, but cueing the body into that specific situation, cueing the body into what it's actually going to be or what it has felt before is going to help to release any pent up stress associated with that moment. So you want a situation and then two, three, four sensory details that you can anticipate or you remember in that situation. And then let's talk about the emotions that are typically associated with that. And let's talk about where you feel those emotions. Remember, like when you label an emotion as like stress or anxiety or whatever, anger, sadness, whatever, that's a cognitive label that is put on a series of body locations and sensations, right? It's like a cluster of things. So the emotional label is helpful because it calls it up within the body, but then how exactly do you experience that is going to make a huge difference. So one typical behavior pattern with the emotional landscape is hypervigilance or anticipatory anxiety, right? Scanning the environment, overanalyzing interactions, fidgeting, feeling that anxiety, feeling that tension, that pressure. So, how does it feel to you? And then start to think about those body locations and sensations that create that understanding. So, typical patterns involve feeling it in your shoulders and your neck, like a tension, a heavy weight, your shoulders up, like you're going to protect yourself. You might feel it in your jaw and in your face, the clenched jaw, the grinding teeth. If you get headaches before or after a situation, it's probably from the jaw tension. People sometimes feel it in their lower back, like an aching, a stiffness, feeling unsupported. So we're looking for the emotion, location, and sensation, but that's not the only typical pattern. One of the other ones is the overwhelm or shutdown response. This is when you just have to get out, right? You just need to withdraw. You need to get away. There's some sort of numbing or collapse, exhaustion that comes with it. Sometimes that you feel that in your head, it feels foggy, pressure behind your eyes. You feel disconnected from your environment. Your limbs may feel heavy or weighed down or hard to move. It also tends to show up in your core or in your belly, this sort of hollow or emptiness, nausea, digestive issues. I'm just giving a lot of prompts here. The important part is, what do you feel and what hits are you getting? Location, sensation, accompanying emotion. So if you walked out of that with a situation that you've either experienced or are going to experience, some sensory details associated with that. Two, three, four sensory details. The emotion that you anticipate that you feel, and the accompanying location and sensations. Those are the things that you want to have written down, which will help with the clinical EFT tapping sequence. Now, oh, the other one I wanted to talk about was the emotional absorption and boundary confusion. So if you are more on the empath route, you tend to take on other people's emotions, difficulty distinguishing between personal feelings and and absorbed energy. So if you start to really feel other people's pain, sometimes you feel that in your solar plexus, right about here. It might be heavy, a tight knot, some type of churning. Sometimes you feel that in your heart center with constricted breathing, heart racing. Your chest might be caving in. And a lot of times we can feel it in our throats, tightness, difficulty swallowing, feeling choked up. So, what we're looking for again is the situation, the sensory details associated with that situation, two, three, four, the emotional pattern that you feel, body location, body sensations, and it's unique to everybody. I want to offer like different suggestions so it helps you tune into that. But these are all available, and I want you to make it your own. So decide what are those things that you're going to tap on in just a little bit. And what tends to happen when you don't release those things is there tends to be some belief patterns that start to get established. And let's see if you can recognize any of these belief patterns in yourself. I've included them because I recognize mostly all of them in myself as well. So I've got a pretty good idea that these are the types of things that tend to come up and tend to happen. So the first one that I want to is hypervigilance and anticipatory anxiety. You feel those things long enough, you start to think I must be perfect or the world is dangerous and unpredictable. If there's conflict, that means I'm bad or I'm wrong. I must read other people so I know that I'm safe. If any of those ring true, that this clinical EFT tapping sequence is going to help to release some of that energy. There are other ones involve the overwhelm and shutdown response. I'm too much or I'm too sensitive. I can't handle normal life. I have to isolate to survive. Something is wrong with me. I'm weak and broken. Other core belief things tend to be I'm responsible for other people's emotions. My feelings don't matter. I can't trust my own emotions. Love means taking on other people's pain. And if you don't tap or breathe or find some other modality to release these things that are naturally occurring within your nervous system, you can start to take on some core beliefs. My sensitivity is a curse or a burden. I should be able to handle what other people handle. I need other people to regulate my emotions. Or I'm different and I don't belong. And that none of those things are objectively true, but you can feel them after years of having these things build up. And the purpose and the point of this call is to tap on these things, to breathe on these things, so we can start to chip away at those beliefs or identities that have built themselves up over the years. But with that, I think it's just about time to start to do some tapping. All right. So if you got your situation, your sensory details, your emotion, your body sensations and locations, you are ready to start tapping. If you need a drink of water, like I do, because I just keep talking and talking and talking, I'm going to take one and we'll get started. Now, there are beautiful tap along apps that will help you deal with overwhelm and anxiety. And those things are beautiful. They help a lot of people. But tapping on your specifics, how exactly it feels for you, is the difference with clinical EFT. So I'm going to offer you some spaces to say out loud. I'm going to have you repeat after me. I'm going to have some blanks. You fill in the blanks as it works for you, and we'll tap. So here we go. Even though I have this situation, what situation is yours? And there's going to be blank. What are the sensory details you're going to experience? I honor my nervous system's protective response. Even though I have this blank situation and there's going to be blank, give me some sensory details. I honor my body's protective response, trusting that with this help, it will return to calm. Even though I have this situation, what is yours? Where are you going? And there's gonna be blank. What are you gonna see, hear, taste, touch, smell at that? Say it out loud. I have something to offer with my presence, and I can reflect the energy of others rather than absorb it. All right, top of the head, but I have this situation. I'm going here. What are you going to see, hear, taste, touch, smell? What sensory details are you going to experience? You're going to this place. Say the place out loud. Say the situation out loud. What are you going to experience? What are you going to see, hear, taste, touch, smell? Tap with it. Do the collarbone points. Where are you going? What are you going to experience? What are you going to see, taste, touch, and smell? I honor my body's protective response. I trust that my body will return the calm. I have things to offer. I have a unique perspective. I see things differently. And I can enter this space and I can return to calm. I can do it with tapping. That's all it takes. I feel different now when I think about underarm points, this situation. All right, stop tapping, close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose while you push out your belly, making your exhale longer than your inhale. On your next inhale, not only push out your belly, but visualize your lower back expanding, deepening, and slowing the breath, offering your body additional signals of safety. Allow your body just to fall into this gentle rhythm of in and out with a longer exhale. And you can relax your tongue on the floor of your mouth or behind your front teeth. And then just tune in to where you can feel that activation. I know you wrote down your emotions, your locations, and your sensations before. If those shift or change or move, that's perfectly acceptable. Just notice exactly where you feel it and how it feels in your body right now. And when you're ready and your body's ready, then you can open up your eyes and start tapping on the side of your hand again, because now we're going to go from that situation and we're going to go into the subconscious mind. We're going to go into the body. We're going to see how it feels and we're going to tap with it. So even though I have this situation, where are you going to go into? And I feel blank. What's your emotion? I honor how my body protects me, sensing what others cannot. Even though I have this emotion, I feel it. What emotion do you feel? And I can feel it in blank? What's the location? Where do you feel it? I honor this message from my body and its wisdom, preparing me for energetic protection. Even though I feel this in blank, my location, where do you feel it? And it feels like blank. What are the sensations? How does it show up in your body? How do you feel it there? I am choosing to go into this situation, knowing I offer unique value and trusting that my body can return to a calm and safe place. All right, top of the head, but I have this situation and I feel blank. How do you feel? I can feel it here. Where do you feel it? And it feels like this. How does it feel? More sensations. How does it feel? One more. How does it feel? Collarbone points. I have this thing, this situation. What is it? And how does it feel? Give me the emotion. Where do you feel it? What locations in your body? How exactly does it feel? More details, more situations. How does it feel? What's the situation? What's the emotion? And I accept this. I'm choosing to go to this situation. And I have value, a unique perspective to offer, and I can help other people. So tapping, and let's take another breath. Eyes closed in through the nose. Expand the lower belly with the back. Exhale is longer than your inhale. And just notice that shift in sensation. Notice that shift in your body, knowing that this is always available to you. Nothing can stop this. You can do this anytime that you need. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes, drink a water, take a yawn, Kleenex, whatever you need. Let's let that just sit and settle. All right. Now I will offer the opportunity. Remember, you're not required to volunteer, and it's okay if you're not comfortable. But there is a way to tap through some upcoming social situations in which that you have something that's coming up that you're going to attend, and you can tap through those things before you attend them, anticipating what it's going to be, giving your body the sense of safety and security that it needs to feel comfortable and safe in that environment. So I'll offer it up to the group. if anybody has an upcoming situation that they're feeling some level of activation. Like 0 is like, ah, whatever, it's gonna be awesome. 10 is like, I am definitely not going to this thing, right? We're looking for something in the 5 to 7 range. If anybody has an upcoming event that they'd like to work through, you can raise your hand or unmute. Oh, all right, we got Marie. All right, Marie, are you ready? All right, unmute for me, please. All right, let me put us on camera here. All right, Marie, tell me about your upcoming event that you'd like to work on.
So I have an event coming up at the weekend, and it's a 3-day event, and I'm teaching. I'm actually teaching on the nervous system. So, so it's very interesting. I don't, it doesn't, the irony is not lost on me. And it will be quite a few people, many of which I don't know. It's quite a big event in the town in which I live in. And it's a new topic for me to talk about. So it is something I know, but I haven't presented it yet.
What's the name of the event?
Mapping your nervous system.
Mapping your nervous system. All right, you've never done this before, right?
No,
But you kind of have an idea of like how the first like section of this is going to go. Day one, like when are you presenting?
yeah. I'm using polyvagal. It's not a whole day event. I'm just doing a 2-hour event on each of the days. And some of it is mapping the nervous system, another is somatic yoga experience, and another is using EFT. So kind of using all of those over the 3 days.
Mm. So let's
There's
just,
many presenters, right? So
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Let's just stick with the first part of it.
yeah.
All right. So what's the first part going to be? Like, what are you going to have to do?
I'm going to have a bunch of people sitting there looking at me. That's the part that triggers me. Is that there's a fear of what comes up is will they understand it? Because it's subtle,
Hmm.
and can they grasp it? And will I be able to explain it?
Okay.
Part of me knows I will, but there's the fear.
All right. And so that's going to be a presentation, right?
Hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to use a modified version of tell the story here, which means that I want you to imagine that you're presenting at the mapping the nervous system thing. Okay. And what I want you to do first is I want you to tell me, we're going to walk through how this is going to go for you. So I want you to rewind that story to where you're going to feel safe, calm, and collected before anything else is going to happen. So what's that place that you're going to feel nice and safe and ready to go? Like, where is that going to be? How is that going to feel? Tell me about that.
That's my workspace, and it's where I work, and it's because this is in a different location, um, and it's a really good energy. It's a really good energy space. It's got all my things in it. It's where I greet my clients. I definitely feel comfortable there.
Hmm.
Um, I can see the chairs I use. I can see the things I use there for people, and the view out into the street, which is really beautiful.
All
Trees.
right. So you're in that space, in your own
Hmm.
space. All right.
Hmm.
And now what I want you to do is I want you to start telling me about the mapping the nervous system event. I
Hmm.
want you to tell me about how that day is going to go. And I want you to talk to me about it until you start to get the first sense of heightened emotion.
Okay, so it's going to happen at the end of the day on Friday, and I don't have a very busy day. Um, and so I can see myself walking over there. That feels fine. Um, landing into the room in which I have to do is actually doing in an outdoor situation. So that makes me nervous because I don't know why, but it does.
All right.
So it's an outdoor situation.
All right. So you're in that outdoor situation. What do you anticipate seeing and feeling in that situation?
There's going to be a lot of back and forths and comings and goings because it's a quite busy place.
Hmm.
So people will be leaving the event that happened just before and arriving for mine. So there'll be a lot of settling that'll have to happen. And I definitely have to hold that space.
How does it feel in your body right now, thinking about all that back and forth, the comings and goings?
I'm sweating.
Sweating?
Yeah.
Anything else
There's,
coming up?
there's a slight tightness in my diaphragm.
All right. You're on the call. Tapping along with me and Marie is going to help you and help Marie. So tap along with us. Even though
Even though
there's this outside space,
there's this outside space.
they'll be back and forth,
They'll be back and forth,
coming and going.
coming and going.
I can feel myself sweating
I can feel myself sweating
and the tightness in my diaphragm.
and the tightness in my diaphragm.
But just for now,
But just for now,
I'm allowing myself to feel this
I'm allowing myself to feel this
because this will help.
because this will help.
And so I'm letting my body feel this.
And so I'm letting my body feel this.
Top of the head, but they'll be back and forth
But they'll be back and forth
and coming and going.
and coming and going.
It'll be outside.
It'll be outside.
I can feel myself sweating.
I can feel myself sweating
And there's tightness.
and there's tightness,
Tightness in my diaphragm.
tightness in my diaphragm.
All this coming and going.
All this coming and going.
All this back and forth.
All this back and forth.
Outside.
Outside.
So many people.
So many people.
Feel myself sweating.
Feel myself sweating.
Tightness in my diaphragm.
Tightness in my diaphragm.
All this coming and going.
All the coming and going.
Close your eyes and take a breath. Nice long exhale. And when you're ready, open your eyes. All right. Start telling me again about this event, the mapping nervous system event. Begin with your workspace and all that good energy. Talk through the outside space, and then let me know when the next area of activation comes up.
Okay. So I'm in my office. Everything's fine. I'm walking down the road. There's a nice vibe in the town. I get to the space. There's comings and goings. I'm okay. I go to set up my space. That feels okay too. Hand out papers that I want them to have. Um, and then they'll all settle down and I open the space. There's a tiny activation there, maybe a three of tension in my jaw. Uh, and so I open that space and then I begin to explain what I need to explain to them, to explain the system. And I anticipate seeing blank faces, which is okay. It's kind of like, what? Blank faces. I'm sure they won't all be blank, but there's a part of me
Mm-hmm.
that anticipates is blank faces, which makes me kind of sweaty again. Um, and then I see others are fine. They're getting it. Still see a lot of comings and going behind because there's movement behind. Uh, but as the event goes on, I do see myself settling, right? As I get into my groove.
Let's tap on that activation, though.
Mhm.
I know you're going to settle into the event, and I know you're going to do excellent. But EFT, we like to lean into
Mhm.
the difficult parts. Here we go. Even
Yeah.
though
Even though.
There'll be this open space
There'll be this open space
and blank faces.
and blank faces.
They might not get it.
They might not get it.
And I can feel that tension in my jaw,
I can feel that tension in my jaw,
and I can feel it getting sweaty.
and I can feel it getting sweaty.
But right now,
But right now,
I'm allowing myself
I'm allowing myself
to feel all of that.
to feel all of that.
Maybe it'll happen,
Maybe it'll happen.
maybe it won't.
Maybe it won't.
But right now,
But right now,
I can tap on how that feels.
I can tap on how that feels.
But there's this open space.
There's this open space.
I'll be setting up my stuff
I'll be setting up my stuff
and starting to present.
and starting to present.
Blank faces.
Blank faces.
They don't get it.
They don't get it.
The blank faces.
The blank faces.
Feeling sweaty.
Feeling sweaty.
All this movement behind.
Say that again.
All this movement behind.
All this movement behind.
I'm presenting,
I'm presenting.
and the faces.
And the faces.
The faces are blank.
The faces are blank. Now pressure in my chest.
I feel that pressure in my chest.
Pressure in my chest.
Blank faces.
Blank faces.
Pressure in my chest.
Pressure in my chest.
Feeling sweaty.
Feeling sweaty.
Take a breath. All right, start from your safe space again, your workplace.
Okay, going over, setting up, seeing the space, people arriving, people leaving. Don't see as many blank faces now. Just look, see it going through, forgetting it. Hmm, feels a lot better actually. I'm not really getting any looking for something. I mean, there's an underlying nervousness because it's the first time, but nothing, just a normal it's definitely anticipatory anxiety. When you said that, I know that one well.
Let's
That's
just tap
definitely
on
one of
that.
my things. Yeah,
Yeah, we
definitely
won't
where
do
I'm
the
gonna
whole
go.
thing, but let's just give your
Yeah,
nervous system a little break there for that. How does that anticipatory anxiety come through for you? How do you feel that?
that's always diaphragm, solar plexus, harder to get the top of my breath. So
Mm.
definitely stress response, right? Yeah,
So even though
even though
I feel this
I feel this
in my diaphragm,
in my diaphragm,
solar plexus,
solar plexus,
and it's hard to get my breath,
hard to get my breath.
but I know
But I know
that I'm going to be prepared,
that I am going to be prepared.
and what I'm offering
And what I'm offering
is valuable,
is valuable.
and
Mm.
I'm letting my body know
And I'm letting my body know
that it is valuable,
that it is valuable
and it's worth this feeling.
and it's worth this feeling.
But I do feel it
But I do feel it.
in my solar plexus,
It's in my solar plexus,
upper diaphragm.
upper diaphragm, in my diaphragm.
Hmm. Anticipatory anxiety.
Anticipatory anxiety.
I can feel that.
I can feel that.
I might feel that
I might feel that
when I present,
when I present,
but that's okay.
but that's okay.
What I'm doing
What I'm doing
is valuable.
is valuable.
And
And maybe that energy
maybe that energy is giving me energy.
is giving me energy.
So I get to choose.
So I get to choose.
Maybe it's excitement.
It's definitely some excitement.
Maybe it's anxiety,
Maybe it's anxiety,
but I get to pick.
but I get to pick.
They feel the same.
And it feels the same.
So I'm choosing
So I am choosing
excitement.
excitement,
Excitement for this event
excitement for this event
because I have value
because I have value.
and what I'm offering
And what I am offering
is valuable.
is valuable.
All right. Take a breath. All right. How do you feel about the presentation?
I can do it.
I
I can do it.
know you can.
Even with it.
I
Yeah,
know you can
yeah,
because we've known each other for a long time.
yeah,
You are
yeah, yeah,
extraordinarily smart and valuable. So thank
yeah.
you for tapping with me, Marie. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Everybody give Marie a little love in the chat. That would be super awesome if we would do that. And so like whenever you have something that's upcoming, you can like tap on it by breaking it down in little segments, telling yourself the story of what's going to happen. As soon as you feel that activation, you can tap on that. And then you go back and you do it again. And you go back and you do it again until it all smooths and evens out. And if you're not comfortable doing that for yourself, that's why we have clinical EFT practitioners. So feel free to reach out to me or anybody else that you know that is an EFT practitioner. It can make a world of difference about what's coming up for you in your life. But with that, it is time to do some breath work. So we're gonna do a little 9-minute breath work sequence. I'm gonna let you know what the different stages are. So you're gonna be there'll be a guided MP3 that will guide us with this, but it's helpful to know, right? So phase one is gonna be energetic clearing. Right. We got something that's upcoming and we want to clear that anxious energy out of the body. So we're going to do this breathwork technique called the physiological sigh. If you've listened to Andrew Huberman's podcast, you have heard about this before. So it looks like this, all right? It goes in for two, in for three, actually. So in, you hold, in again, and then out for about eight. If you ever seen somebody who's very like emotional, they'll do this thing naturally, go like that. Like this is just another way to mimic that, to send your body a sense of safety. So we're gonna clear that energy out in for three, hold, in again, hold, and then a nice long 8-second exhale, which is gonna lead us into phase two. Phase two is the nervous system grounding. And if we want to ground, what we're going to use is we're going to use equal ratio breath work. So it's going to go in for five. So in, two, three, four, five, out, two, three, four, five. We'll do that about 10 times just to settle yourself in, and we'll do the physiological sigh 5 times. So 5 to clear, 10 to ground. And then we're going to go into the phase three. And in phase three, we're going to do some energetic shielding. So what will happen is we're going to breathe in for two, in two, out, two, three, four. We're going to do that 20 times. All right. That's an unequal ratio breath work, but it's a little quick. So it's calming, but it's also energizing. Then we're going to breathe fully in, and we're going to breathe fully out. And then we're going to hold the breath, and we're going to be there for like 60 seconds. Now, unless you've done an extensive amount of breath work, you're not going to hold your breath for 60 seconds. And that's okay. You're not expected to. You're expected to find your edge, go one step over, take a sip of air in, out, and then continue. And after that happens for 60 seconds, then we're going to do fully in, and we're going to hold, and we're going to squeeze. You can squeeze your perineum muscles like you're trying to stop the flow of urine. You can squeeze your stomach like you're going to get punched in the gut. You can squeeze your chest by pushing your hands together, and you can visualize that energy flowing up and out of the top of your head. And the reason we want to do that is because this type of breath work creates a torus field. It moves that energy up the spine, activating your energy centers, your chakras, if you're so inclined. And that pressure that you create in your spinal fluid will generate an electric current, which creates an electromagnetic field around your physical body, shaped like a torus, comes out, expands, and back around. And if you think about that, that feels like an energetic shield to me. And you can use that and really feel that as it cascades around your body and it flows back up and in. So that pressure that you put when you do this is going to help send that up, creating that electric current, which is going to create that energy field. Now, if you have any cardiovascular issues, respiratory conditions, clinical anxiety, panic disorders, or PTSD, migraines, epilepsy, vertigo, or are pregnant or thinking about it, then this may not be the right practice for you. If it's not, then when we get to the breath holds, it's okay to just continue the rhythmic breathing or do a little box breathing in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. There is nothing dangerous about rhythmic breathing. But I just need everybody to be careful if they have any of those other safety concerns. So there we have it. So now would be the time to release whatever note-taking devices you have. Find yourself a nice centered space. This is going to be 9 minutes or so. And let's all do a little bit of breath work together. All right. All right. I'm going to share my sound. Bring you back here so I can see you. All right. And here we go. Find a comfortable seated position with your spine tall and shoulders back. Place one hand on your belly and the other on your heart. Begin by simply noticing your breath without changing it. Notice the natural rhythm of the breath, the rise and fall of your chest, the expansion and contraction of your belly. Observe where you might be holding any tension in your jaw, your shoulders, your stomach. No need to change anything just yet. Just notice. And now we'll begin with phase 1, a series of physiological sighs, clearing stuck energy and sending your nervous system signals of safety. In, 2, 3, hold. In again, hold. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, hold. In again, hold. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, hold. In again, hold. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, hold. In again, hold. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, hold. In again, hold. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that we've sent your nervous system signals of safety, we'll move to phase 2, nervous system grounding, allowing your body to feel centered in this energetic space. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And finally, we'll enter phase 3, your energetic shielding. We'll begin with some rhythmic breathing, followed by extended breath holds, creating and strengthening your energetic field. In, 2, out, 2, 3, 4. 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 And now fully in and fully out, holding your breath. When you pause your breath, you pause your life, creating a moment to feel your energetic shield surrounding you, knowing this shield is here to protect you, to serve you, allowing you to be protected as you share your unique gifts and insights with others. If you feel the urge to breathe, override that first impulse and then take a tiny sip of air in, let it out, and continue. Now breathe fully in and hold, squeezing that energy up from your pelvis to your stomach, through your chest, and shoot it out the crown of your head. Squeeze those perineum muscles, tense your stomach, push your hands together, and send that energy up and out, allowing it to form a protective field, growing stronger and stronger. And release, returning to normal breathing. And as you return, feel what you've created here. This isn't imaginary. You've just built a real, measurable electromagnetic field around your body through conscious breath and intention. Feel that torus field extending beyond your physical boundaries. Notice how your body feels different, more centered, more protected, more coherent. This is your new energetic signature. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself. You just chose to override survival programming and create instead of react. You moved your energy up your spine and built a field of protection that you will always carry with you. This field doesn't disappear when you leave this space. Every time you breathe with intention, you strengthen this electromagnetic signature of protection and empowerment. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances or other people's energy. You are a powerful, electromagnetic being, shielded and ready to share your gifts with the world. Feel that field one more time. You are protected. You are empowered. You are ready. So open your eyes and welcome back. All right. Welcome back. I hope you found that practice beneficial, healing, and helpful. That was less than 9 minutes, so that's available to you before or after any big situation in which your nervous system might feel activated. But now we're nearing the end of the call. All right. And I'm appreciating all the lovely comments in the chat. And I'm appreciating Marie and her tapping with me, and you guys all tapping along. And if it's all we ever did was just this, it's worth it because it feels good and it's beneficial and it's helpful. Ooh, thank you. All right. Did I mess anything up? Like you guys can see me? Everything good? Give me a thumbs up. All right. I think the share stopped. All right. But let's talk about how you can incorporate this into your day-to-day life. Right? So I'm going to offer some share still on. Not sure how to turn that off. Can everybody hear me and see me? Is that okay? Well, then fair enough. We're just going to go with it. All right. So let's talk about behavior design and different ways in which you might be able to incorporate any of these topics or things that have happened here in your life. And I'll share some examples from my own life. All right. So, one way in which to think about using some content of this is what I'm calling micro shielding. This is before something happens, before you start to feel anything. All right. So, what I like to do is establish an anchor moment before you're going to go into something. So, what's the moment before that feels safe and feels okay? And then think about a tiny behavior, one thing from here that really did help you, that helped you feel okay, that helped you feel safer and more connected within your body. And then you select an intention statement. How do you want to feel related to this? So, the way in which I used to do this and the way in which I used to experience this is on the way to work, on my commute. As soon as I was driving, I like to touch and breathe. So I would touch each acupoint and out, in and out. And then when I would park my car, I would say my energy is mine. And so that was my little on the way to work protocol. I really like the rhythmic breath. I really like the calming breath associated with that. And that was beneficial and helpful. So, what could you do from this call? When could you do it? What tiny thing helped? And what intention would you like to set before you go into a social situation? We call that micro shielding. Another idea is micro reflection. So, when you get home, when you're done with the event, what's that moment going to be? What's the specific moment in time? And what little behavior from this call helped you with that? And then what's your identity shifting statement going to be? So mine used to be like I'd get home and I would go and take a shower. All right. Nice and warm, feeling better. Not, well, I mean, because I'm a sicko, I turn it all the way to cold before I do this, but you don't have to do that. And then I would do all the shaking. I would shake my entire body just to release whatever I picked up from that day. And my intention statement was that is over and I am here. And that helped me connect more with my family to release that tension from the day. And then the last one I want to offer is what I call social CPR. The acronym didn't quite fit, so I just added an extra R into the end. So choice. Before you go into an event, say, I am choosing this, and say, I am choosing to go here. State the purpose and the reason why. That's the R of the CPR. What are the benefits? Why does it matter? How am I going to do this? Offer yourself the R is restrictions. How long are you going to stay? How many interactions are you going to do? How am I going to take breaks? Having that plan ahead of time is super important. And then the final R is the reward. What are you going to do immediately when you get home or within a day? Or if this is a continuing situation, like weekly rewards? Those things are all beneficial and helpful. Just recognizing that your nervous system operates different than other people's. And you don't want to change that because it offers unique skills, unique gifts. So think about which one of those works the best for you. And then about, I don't know, like an hour and 45 minutes from now, you're going to get an email that's going to have the replay to this call. It's going to have an option, or you can register for the next event. I actually moved it up to July 27th because I'm taking a vacation with my family like that first weekend in August. So I'm going to move that up. So it's going to be July 27th. Feel free to invite a friend. Takes a lot of time and effort and energy to put these calls together. So if you would like to donate, I do appreciate that. So I can continue to create the content for these calls and all the resources. Like you know, there's a good 10 to 12 hours that goes into making sure that this is the way it needs to be. And I encourage you to conduct your own self-care behavior design experiment. Be flexible, make it short, make it consistent. If it doesn't work for you, then just change it. So if those ideas don't work, just take something from this and give it a shot for a couple of weeks and notice if it helps and if it matters. You can always contact me by emailing me. My email will be on the resource sheet. And if something bigger came up from you, I am available for a free 30-minute EFT and breathwork consultation. And we can work through whatever it is that came up on an individual and one-on-one basis. And I am here for that. And with that, I want to thank you all for attending. And I'm going to invite you to leave the call at this time. And Kelly, if you wouldn't mind sticking around, I'd like to stick around with you. Okay? All right. Goodbye to everyone but Kelly. And I will see you guys next month, July 27th. Thank you to Marie. Thank you so much for being here. It makes a lot to me. And I hope this is beneficial and helpful to all of you. All right. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you.